I'm now going to learn maybe some excerpts from a Sicha that the Rebbe spoke during the first day of Rosh Chodesh Tevis in Tavshim Mem Ches, that he was addressing the Koil Tiferes Kein Levi Yitzchak B'Chachmas Nashim, what the Rebbe organized, that retirees should be learning Torah. So the Rebbe used to make an address just for them, similar to how he used to address the Tzivus Hashem. We're going to perhaps skip around in this whole Sikh. Aleph, Kasher Harbi Yehudim Misasfim B'Yachad, when many Jews gather together, Hari Etzema Asifa Gerem Simcha, the very gathering causes joy. Ki Aidei Zeroyim, because through the gathering of the many Yidden we see, Asher Afal Pish Kolach Mehem Yesh Lo Tavam Yuchad, though each one of them has their own unique characteristic, Umisasik B'Dvarim Ham Yuchadim Loi, and he is involved in matters that are unique to him. V'chein Divrei Mechayav Shoinim, and so too his life story is different than someone else. U'b'chol Zos, despite all the differences that he enumerated here, Misasfim Yachad, we join together Mitoch Regesh Shel Achdus Yisrael, out of a feeling of unity amongst Yidden, Umarim, and we show Shalom Rois Kol Havdelim, despite all the differences, Kulam Shayachim Loisam Am, all are part of the very same nation, or the Oisa Torah, and the very same Torah, Shenitnai the Oisa HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that was given through the very same Hashem. Nois not Torah, the one that's giving the Torah. And therefore, it brings joy to every single one of those that are gathered here, that came together. Not only does it bring joy to the attendees of the gathering, and similarly, this brings also joy to Hashem. So it's not just also, he said Gam, it's not just also Simcha, as if it's something additional to the joy that the Yidden are feeling. Ela Adrab, just the opposite, the type of joy that when Yidden get together, this causes by Hashem, is Simcha Gedoyla B'Yoser, is a very great joy. Like my father-in-law, the leader of our generation, related, that Mani Gadoir is called the one that runs the generation. What's it mean that he runs the generation or leads the generation? He showed how one is supposed to live in their day-to-day life. So the Friede could have said it over B'Shem Ziknoi, in the name of his, it doesn't mean literal grandfather, it means someone that preceded him in his ancestor, Admur Azokin Alter Rebbe, Asher B'Shosh Yehudim Nifgoshim, when Jews meet together, V'Kiruvam Yachad, and they're becoming close with each other, it's not just for the sake of friendship, out of an intention to assist, one should assist each other with good advice, or maybe to help another more than just advice, to actually give some material help, corresponding to the capabilities of what each one can help another out with. This causes by Hashem a very great joy. What's the reason? The reason for this is HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nikra Avinu Shebashamayim. The Eibishter is called our Father in heaven. Aviyam Shkol Echad VeEchad MiYisrael Megadol Vad Kotan, the Father of every single Yid, from the greatest to the most minor. Ukeshem Sha'av Haroyes Bon of Misnagim Ba'ava V'Achva, just like a father, when he sees his children acting with love and brotherhood, B'Shalom V'Reus, with peace and friendship, Yesh Lo Nachas Ruach V'Tayne Gadol B'Yoser, he has great nachas and he has great pleasure from it. Kamuvan, as self-understood, in a similar vein is the delight of Hashem. When he sees the Yidden gathering together, they lazar each l'reyu, to assist each other. So this causes by Hashem a very great delight. Even greater than the light that Hashem has from Malachim. Like all the details of the story of the leader of our generation, of the Frierdiker Rebbe, the name of the Alter Rebbe, he told it over to print it and to make it well known about Hashem's delight from the Yidden's Avodah, that he prides himself, and he says to the Malachim, look at the great Avodah that he didn't do. Kedei, why did is this so important? Kedei shekol echad ve'echad. Why was it published? Kedei shekol echad ve'echad misrael yeda, so that every single Jew should know. Ad kama hanagosiv shel Yehudi echad b'yachs l'chaveiroi, how much the acting of one Jew in regards to his friend, tefeses malkim etz l'Hakadosh Baruch Hu, is of importance and value by Hashem. And how the delight, how it has a capability to cause a greater delight, Masher Malach, even though what a Malach can cause by Hashem. That is caused by the unity and the attitude that one Yid has to their fellow. By knowing what type of great delight it causes Hashem, this will bring about and improve and strengthen the closeness of every Yid to another Yid, and he will devote himself to do everything in his power to assist another Yid. Like we said earlier, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who avinu shebashamayim shekol Yisrael, v'lechein hu sameach kishem misasvim yachad. Therefore, he is joyous when they gather and join together. Let's skip over a little bit to the next page. He says in Ois Gimel, the Vihine Kavonis HaPu'ula the Achdus Yisrael on the Fels Bekenazah, the intention of the effect of the unity of Yidden that comes about through this gathering, to cause this to continue even after the gathering. The inspiration during this gathering Tifal should influence when we meet during Chanukah and in similar events with additional Jews, anoshim, men or women, zakenim, elderly or young, for whatever reason they did not participate in this gathering. So when you meet this person that wasn't there, this will inspire you to have this feeling of oneness also to those that didn't participate in this gathering. Since they are also children of our Father in heaven, in the very same powerfulness, in the very same storm, without any difference. Because all are part of the same nation of the Jewish people. Therefore, the love and the closeness to every Yid occupies a very important place by Hashem, like we said before. Additional to that, since Hashem loves every single Yid, to such a degree, Hashem thanks Yidden. He gives a thanks for the love that Yidden love each other. What is the thanks that Hashem gives to Yidden when he sees the love that they demonstrate to each other? That he adds even more than what he did up till now in his brachas to every single person and everything that they need. bebrius, and giving them health, ben nachas me'elodim anachodim, having nachas from the children, having nachas from their einiklach, from their grandchildren, v'gam noisin koiches, lekablas nachas. He also gives the attendees and those that participate in this the capability, the strength to accept and receive the nachas mitach brius hanachayim mitach simcha, out of an appropriate health and out of joy. V'yiseidim. And the Rebbe goes on even more. Not only does Hashem give us brachas because of our Avos Yisrael, birchaisav shal Kadosh Baruch Hu hem b'yisafa miyayim liyayim mizman lazman. The brachas of Hashem are in a way of increase from day to day and from time to time, b'teisefes brius, with additional health, b'teisefes nachas ma'elodim v'anachodim, and additional nachas from the children and the grandchildren, b'dugmas hayrosh olamedim and leis Chanukah kilkamon, similar to the lesson that we learn from the candles of Chanukah, like we will say in a moment. On the first day of Chanukah, we light one candle. And then we make all the brachas on it, including also the bracha of Shechianu, Bishturim v'cholu, with a whole tumult. V'afal became, despite the fact that we did such an amazing job the first night, la'achar sha'over yom noisov, once another day passes, moisifim oidner, we add another candle, v'chein midei yom b'yom, so to day after day, madlikim oidner hamevi toisves oir, tesefes oir hameres kol sviva, we light another candle that brings additional light that illuminates the entire surroundings. Moisiv v'hoilech, we increase, and Mailim B'Kodesh, we constantly increase and we're constantly going up in holiness. Vayiram is the lesson in this is since every day a person grows in their wisdom. So everyone understands that needs to increase in all good things. Beginning with fulfilling mitzvahs, koil mitzvahs Avos Yisrael, including also the mitzvah of loving another yid. The appropriate relationship and the attitude that's supposed to be to every single yid, Yisrael, to the entire Klal Yisrael, the halach of Moisef should be in a way that it's constantly increasing, increasing after increasing, day after day. Let's skip over a little bit further. So then he says about going on with the concept of Avos Yisrael to every single Yid, second paragraph from the top of the page. Koil Gam, including also concerning his attitudes towards other Yidden in his surroundings. Even how his relationship is to a Yid and his attitude to a Yid that for whatever reason is very far from his surroundings physically. Even if that Yid is very distant from him in his spiritual state. Lizker, to remember, Sha'afal became, despite all of these distances that he just now enumerated, Harehu ben Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov, that other man is a son of Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov, v'hi basar Rivka Rachel v'Leah, and that other woman is a daughter of Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. V'lechein noisin lahem es ha-maximum shebecholte losis Messiah lam chol dover toiv. And therefore, this Yid gives the other Yid, regardless of distance, the maximum that he has the capability to give and to assist in anything good. And v'hine bein ha-brachas sh'HaKadosh Baruch Hu berachas Am Yisrael, amongst the brachas that Hashem benched Klal Yisrael, Nasalam zmanim yuchadim b'shana, he gave them special times in the year, unique times in the year, shebehem yeshna izdamnus l'chazik yoser es haregesh hatoiv amr le'el da'at Yisrael, that there's a unique opportunity to strengthen even more so the good feeling of unity amongst Yidden. Through the fact that in those times they shall gather and use the opportunity of this special day, a kamam yuchadim, yom yuchadim, or the many special days, that these days were chosen by Hashem, and to use these opportune times to become more inspired and even greater inspired. This is also the content of the days of Chanukah. Hashem chose these days that they should be a victory for the Yidden. And he commanded to mark these days, to celebrate these days throughout all the generations. Therefore, year after year, when Chanukah comes, Yidden gather together, they kindle the lights of Chanukah again, exactly the way it was done thousands of years ago. And they recite the very same brachas that was said thousands of years ago. With the same devotion to Hashem and His mitzvahs. And included in this is what's another thing that we are becoming inspired? What we said before. The inspiration in their attitude towards Yidden that fulfill the mitzvahs. Either they're now fulfilling the mitzvahs, or even if they're not fulfilling mitzvahs now, in the future they'll be fulfilling mitzvahs. Why is his attitude so positive and so united? Because all Yidden together, regardless of their distance, as we said before, are connected with our Father in heaven. It's increased in the activities and the effect of the days of Chanukah. The nachas that one derives from the days of Chanukah. And we use these days in a great amount, to such a degree that the light of the good feeling that was inspired during the days of Chanukah is drawn down and shines throughout the days of the year. Daily we feel as if now we came from the days of Chanukah. When we kindled the candles while reciting the Shachiyanu, and we met together in Yedidim Rabim with many friends, B'Makim Kaddish, in a holy place, in other words, where this rally was held in 770, Makim Shabbai Mispalim LaKadosh Baruch Hu, a place in which we daven to Hashem, Loimdim Es Torah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we study Hashem's Torah, Mekam Lachlotas Toivus, when we accept upon ourselves good resolutions, losses tzedakah, mitzvahs shel Baruch Hu, to give tzedakah as the command of David is, or b'chalal zen, included in this, Lazar l'sayel l'chol echad v'echad b'Yisrael v'chol ma'asher efsher b'leiv v'shalom v'emes, to help and to assist every single Yid in everything that's possible in a complete and a full, perfect and true heart. U'metoch simcha amitis, and all of this should be done out of great joy, like it's especially emphasized in this year. According to the Jewish calendar, it's the year Tavshim Memches, as we spoke about in many times in that year. The 4 letters of the number of the year, which is made up of the letters Tavshin Memches, they have a double meaning. Tismach, Shana Shabbat Kolechad Vechad Tzarich Lias Ba'atzmi B'Simcha. It's a year that each and every one has to be joyous. Begam Tesamach, also you should make joyous. Shana Shabbat Mesifim Yishtadlos B'Chol HaPulah Shalom Dem Yem Zek Amor. It's a year where we add extra effort in all activities that we derive from this day. L'Sayel L'Chol Echad Ve'echad Yisrael, to assist every single Yid, even to ordinary people, they should have everything they need until they come to state and situation of Simcha. Since through this, they affect joy by Hashem, as we mentioned before. This will also cause an addition of bracha and wisdom, and so too in friendship of every single one, and Yehudim Nesafim with additional Jews, in general, the drawing down of blessings, and additional nachas from children and grandchildren, as we said before. I'm going to skip over a little bit, or a lot. Earlier, let's go to page 115. It says, let's go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs from the top of the page. So on Chanukah, every day of Chanukah, we read about the korban that a different shevet brought for the Chanukah's HaMishkan. And today, that we read the Kriyas HaTorah of the 7th day of Chanukah, the one that brought the korbanos, that's of the 7th day of the days of dedication of the Mishkan in the Midbar, in the wilderness, the one who brought the korbanos was Ephraim. So the Rebbe is going to talk about the message we can derive from Ephraim. The Shevet about whom we read in the Torah today, this morning in Shul, of Nekama Shoyes a few hours ago, who Shevet Ephraim, is the tribe of Ephraim. Concerning what Ephraim stands for and the lesson that's derived from it, Kasav b'Torah, it's written in the Torah, Shenikra b'Shem Zeh. Why is he called by the name Ephraim? Ki hifrani alekim be'eretz ani, because Hashem made me fruitful in the land of my suffering, my affliction. The Hainu, this means, She Yosef aviv shel Ephraim, Yosef the father of Ephraim, Amnam haya begals Mitzrayim be'eretz ani. He was in the exile Mitzrayim, in the land of my suffering. B'sham gufa hascholas megurav b'Mitzrayim haisra meiser le'aleinu. The beginning of his living in Mitzrayim was imprisonment. Should keep us away from such things. All of this was only temporary. But immediately after that, even before the Yidden would go out of Mitzrayim 100 and some years later, Eretz Ani, the land of my affliction, the Hashem made that the Yidden should increase, they should be fruitful. So we see this idea about in the negative is hidden the positive, and this is connected with what the Rebbe spoke about in the part of the Sicha that we skipped about Rabim b'yad ma'atim. Even though we are few, there are many that are there. Even more so, the fact that the Yidden were very much and increased in my land of my affliction was so great, it was even recognizable to the nations of the world. Even the nations of the world called Ephraim, or a similar name, B'Lashon Mitzrayim, in the Egyptian language, Mashmusi Shavel Ephraim, that its indication is close to Ephraim. So the nations of the world, when they had to call them, so they called them a name which indicated the same message. When the nations of the world ask, why was he given specifically this name? We respond to them, this is because only in the land of Mitzrayim, Eretz Ani, the land of my affliction, Hashem showed and revealed the advantage of the Yidden. As a result of this, I was fruitful. Similar to what the Rebbe in the earlier part of the Sikh that we skipped said about the many in the hands of the few. That Hashem proves that specifically the Yidden that are ruling in the world. Ubezeh gufa, and this itself, ba'ifim di'ifrani, in a way of fruitful, shahoylech mitvasif yoser v'yoser, they increase more and more, like giving fruits. Fruits is about increasing. Koil gam, again, the brachas that the Rebbe is giving everybody over here, Taisefes bebrachas noisen kolechet v'achim Yisrael, the additional brachas that Hashem gives every single yid. Hachal metesefes nachas me'atzmoi me'abal me'aisha me'elodim anachodim kulam yachad, beginning from additional nachas from himself, from the husband or the wife, from the children, the grandchildren, from everyone together. From the brachas that Hashem gives us, we draw down brachas to the entire world. Beginning from adding a little bit light in the world. Until we bring Mashiach, in the true and complete redemption. Then the world will be fixed up in the kingship of Hashem. There won't be any war, any jealousy, any competition. There will be peace in the world. Like all the details of the matter that's explained in the Rambam. And so there will be, the soul will be at rest, and the body will be at rest. Therefore, the entire involvement of the world will only be to know Hashem. The entire world will be involved only in knowing and meditating good things, until the recognition of Hashem is found in the entire world. And He creates the entire world. And He is the one that owns and runs the entire world. And He runs it in the way of righteousness and straightness, in the way that's revealed, that we see Hashem's righteousness and goodness in running the world. And all this will be even more sped up through the activities and everything that the Rebbe spoke about earlier in the Sicha, till the entire and truthful redemption will come of the entire world, Am Yisrael v'miyuchad, and especially Am Yisrael, including each one of us and all of us together, and speedily in our days. And then let's skip over after Yud Aleph. V'hi rotzen she'amshichu b'chol inyon tzedakah v'toiv b'chlal, that we should draw down all matters of tzedakah and goodness in general, b'chol inyon yadus, in all matters of Yiddishkeit. She'achokma amitis, it's the true wisdom, because he's talking about people that are on in years that have gained wisdom. As he says that many days lets us know wisdom. So in other words, you are already wiser because you are older. When Hashem gave us more days, so automatically there's more wisdom. Yoser Yadus, therefore more Yiddishkeit, Yoser Yerushalayim, and more awe of heaven. And so additional power and strength, Losis Ma'agolus, to leave the exile and to merit the true and complete redemption through Mashiach, speedily in our days mamish. Then it says, He gave whoever was involved over there dollar bills to give out to all the people that were in attendance. Afterwards, the Rebbe announced Chanukah Sameach, Afreilichen Chanukah, V'arichas Yom V'shonim Tovos, and long and good days and years.